Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Gorcom, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives after they put out important news. And this company doesn't have just one piece of news to talk about. They've got a bunch of them over the summer. They've been on a tear. We're talking to Infinity Stone Ventures, trades in Canada out of the stock symbol GEMS, GEMS. For our friends in the US, TLOOF. And for our friends in Europe on Frankfurt, under B2I0. Zane Kalian, CEO and director, is with us today. For those new to the story, here's what you need to know, and it's an amazing story, especially, for example, if you follow the news this summer, the big news, the Inflation Reduction Act, representing the most aggressive action to combat the climate crisis. As a result, the critical minerals required for electric vehicle batteries include lithium, graphite, cobalt, manganese, and nickel, and demand is going to be massive for them. For example, in 2030, the global demand for lithium is expected to surpass 2 million metric tons of lithium carbonate equivalent. That more than doubles the demand forecast for 2025. Enter Infinity Stone Ventures, who is on a mission to be a diversified supplier for the critical energy metals being used in the clean energy revolution. Now, most small cap companies will focus on just one or maybe two. We see that all the time. But like Thanos and the Avengers, Infinity Stone Ventures has restarted collecting them, all of them, right? But unlike Thanos, all kidding aside, they've got nothing but great intentions for all humanity, and they've checked off the following boxes: lithium, graphite, cobalt, manganese, and GEMS believes that a nickel project won't be too far behind. Let's talk about the summer tear. Zane, welcome back, my friend.
Thanks, George. Thanks for having us. We're excited to be back. Excited to start the fall off with a strong move, and I think we have lots in the pipeline coming.
Yeah, well, investing season started, and a lot of companies are just getting up to speed now. But you've been, before we get into specifics, you guys have been on a tear this summer. So that tells me there's a real sense of urgency in your mission. Why so aggressive on accumulating projects and the critical elements?
Yeah, I'd have to say, I think there were moments this summer where we felt we were the only people working. But no, overall, I think we really have been really aggressive in pushing forward on the projects that we have been working on. We were really fortunate to kind of begin this initiative with the company at the beginning of this year, being able to pick up properties at relatively reasonable valuations, very kind of fair market. And I think now we're starting to see the fruits of that labor starting to materialize, not only in our stock price, but also in kind of the exploration work that's being done on the properties. And we're just going to continue on that path. I think we want to be as aggressive as possible. There's a rapidly growing demand for these minerals, and the market's sending us those signals every day. And while there's lots of macro forces that may be working against the general market, I think we're in the right spot, and we're in probably one of the only markets that's getting a bid these days as well. So we just want to capitalize on that and do the best we can. Yeah,
so I'm glad you brought that up, because I want to ask about the macro of critical metals, not the macro of the world, because we know the world economy is having troubles. But Biden's latest bill, how much of a boost did that give? And you would think most people would almost take it for granted that all these critical elements, metals now are just going to be important. But it seems like the latest bill has really given a boost to the industry. So does that make great timing from you guys acquiring stuff just before things got really hot?
I think it's just adding fuel to the fire, right? There's been so many catalysts over the past 6 months. It seems like almost every day there's another article out about how EV minerals are becoming increasingly more critical, and there's tons of government incentives, tons of tax incentives, grants, etc. Lots of wind in our sails that are really pushing this market forward. The price of lithium seems to continue to increase. We're starting to see more interest in the other battery metals that we're very focused on, including graphite. And I think we just want to continue to kind of push those projects forward and meet that demand. I think there's going to be, as we move away from fossil fuels, even though it seems like fossil fuels are going to be critical for the future, at least the immediate future, given the current macroeconomic climate and the current macro security climate. I think we're definitely in a position where energy is going to be a big focus, and being able to supply the minerals that are needed for the green revolution are going to be critical.
So let's talk about three of them. I want to start with lithium. You've expanded your holdings again in James Bay. You got an option on Taiga Lithium. It seems like you guys are really going hard on the lithium side. How important is this expansion? And tell investors, what have you got with this expansion?
Yeah, well, I think the recent developments and recent results that Patriot Battery Metals have put out over the past, call it, month have been great. They've been great for the market, great indications for their shareholders, one. But then two, beyond that, I think us being directly adjacent to them, us having 21 pegmatites that are in that region, directly adjacent and just south of them. I think just further adds to the value of that region. I think really what Patriot set out to do is they had a belief that Corvette trend was going to be the beginning of a new lithium district for Canada, and hard rock lithium really seems to be kind of the driving force in this for EV minerals. And I think Canada being one of the strategic suppliers to Germany following the German Chancellor's visit to Canada and the signing of Volkswagen and Mercedes committing to source their lithium from Canada, I think is just further adding to the value. I think with Patriot kind of opening up that jurisdiction, I think we're in the right place at the right time, and we just want to continue to build on it.
It seems that one theme that's kind of starting to come out from lithium is that there isn't going to be enough. It seems like there's this urgency now. Oh my goodness, we kind of took for granted that we need lithium, but now it seems like there isn't going to be enough. So that makes your holdings even that much more exponentially valuable, right? Because it seems like where there's going to be a real supply deficit unless a lot of discoveries start being made. And you don't have to wait for that. You guys have got already fantastic projects in your hopper.
For sure. We're going to need a ton more mines, lithium mines in the world to be able to meet that demand. And I think one of the things that a lot of people kind of maybe fixate on is that the EV revolution, or everything moving towards electric vehicles from internal combustion engine vehicles, is really kind of the driving force. But lithium ion batteries and other kinds of batteries are really going to be critical for not only transportation, but also just the grid in general, to be able to supply electricity to the grid. With this move from fossil fuel generation to renewable power, battery storage and energy storage are critical. And I think having lithium, the demand for lithium is going to be driven by much more than just EVs. It's going to be driven by the need for the grid, for the general grid as well.
Last question on lithium. What's your plan for your projects and properties? Are you guys going to go?
So we're active in the James Bay area right now. We sent a team up last Saturday. They've been active on the property all week. We're actually going to be sending another team up later this week as well. Our geologist actually just landed in Montreal yesterday morning, our Case Lewis, who's one of the directors of the company, and he's actively going in to take a look at the Galaxy and the Zen Warbury project this week. And then we will be active in James Bay up until the snow gets really bad and gets really cold up there, and it makes it a little bit tougher to operate. But we're being pretty aggressive. We're going to be doing sampling, trenching. We're even exploring the opportunity of doing some shallow drilling.
Wow, that's
where the snow flies, but we want to be aggressive. I think one of the benefits of operating in that region is that there is some infrastructure there, with Patriot having built a pretty decent sized footprint there, and we're going to take advantage of the time we have before winter comes.
And if we just ended the interview there on your lithium, that alone would make most shareholders really happy, optimistic, and looking forward to seeing what's going to happen for the rest of the year. But we've got so much more. Your graphite, Rockstone, what's the update there on the graphite side?
Yeah, so as we announced today, we are active on the Rockstone. We are actively, we've engaged SGS Labs, as we did previously, to refine the graphite to 96.1%. We've now engaged them to take it to that battery grade, that 99.8%. And in our initial discussions, they have no reason to believe that we won't be able to make it to that purity. It's all just about time. So it'll be about a 12-week program. And I think once we've completed that, it'll include flotation and acid leaching. Once we've completed that program, we believe we'll have a kind of the economics and the metrics of what it takes to get the sample to battery grade. And concurrent to that, we did apply for permits to drill Rockstone, and we have 8 drill target. We have actually 18 drill targets. We're currently evaluating what we're going to focus on with the drill program. But we have put out we applied for permits back in June, and we're expecting to receive them any day now, and we'll be active on the property as soon as we can. First, by twinning that existing discovery hole, we call it, the 25% graphite over 24 meters, as well as hitting some of the other drill targets to really get a clear idea of what the deposit looks like, and we'll build from there.
And Canadian graphite is really starting to get attention, as we saw with the visit by Tesla. to Nouveau Monde last week, right? So people are really looking to Canada as a great source of graphite, and it's secure. How much is also how important is it that, you know, because a lot of the graphite comes from outside of North America, and everyone is now seen with what Russia's doing to Europe, that's just dangerous putting your supply. So, you know, how happy are you with the attention that graphite is getting? And again, it seems like you guys are right on time. Your timing is perfect with what you're doing on the graphite side.
Well, yeah, so 84% of the world's graphite comes from China. And obviously, as I'm sure most people are aware, there's obviously initiative or trend to move supply chains back towards North America. And most of the graphite that's produced in China is also synthetic too. So it's very energy intensive to produce, not necessarily the greenest kind of model. But having a natural supply of graphite that is pure and is of high grade, also having the right morphology. The Rockstone graphite appears to be this hexagonal morphology, which is really what you need for batteries, so you can get that density when you pack it into the cells. But graphite, I think, is going to get some love here. I think people are going to start to realize that it really is a critical mineral, and there's going to be a shortage. There's already projected shortages that will have to begin later this year, before the end of the year. But just to kind of put it in context, if you were to take a Tesla Model S 100D, you need about 120 kilograms of graphite for that battery, for the battery pack that goes into that car. It's about 1.2 kilograms per kilowatt hour of energy capacity that's required in terms of graphite.
Yeah, and that's an amazing number, 120 kilos. Yeah, I'm 120 kilos. I'm actually a little more. So you think about that, it's like one entire George inside an electric vehicle just on graphite. That's the blowaway. So looking forward to, so when do you think SGS, last question there, you know, I guess at some point you want to wait for that confirmation that SGS can get up to battery grade.
It's an indicated 12-week program that we've signed up for. Obviously we hope that we'll get results quicker than that. You never know. Sometimes things move faster, sometimes they move slower, but we're pretty confident that we'll be able to get there, and we're obviously going to look forward to that catalyst. Some other catalysts I think we have in the pipeline too on that is obviously starting drilling, which should be imminent on Rockstone. And then, yeah, as I said, active in James Bay, active on the Taiga, the Camaro, and our new Hellcat project. I think we're really pushing there, and we're going to be as aggressive as possible. And there will be some news developments there. And yeah, we're excited to kind of have a big fall.
And again, if we ended it there, shareholders be happy, be excited. They say this is great. Zane can't wait for more. But like Thanos, you guys aren't stopping until you're collecting all the stones, and you checked off manganese with the Thor manganite. That's probably the one that's known the least. Manganese, I think, is known the least. So how big is what you guys have now checked off? You know, how big is Thor manganite, and what are next steps with that?
Well, yeah. So as you said, George, I think the Manganite project really is not one of the most publicized projects that we have in the company, but we are very, very focused on it. I think we do see a lot of value there. High manganese battery chemistries are quite in vogue, and I think they're going to be really integral to the future of EV and beyond. Volkswagen's chemistry, or stated battery chemistry, requires a lot of manganese. And one of the exciting things about the property in Isle Magdalene, or in Magdalene Islands in Quebec, is that it's the type of manganese that's required for batteries. Historically, manganese, the most kind of prevalent use of manganese is really for steel making. So it has to be very high in iron, which is the term ferrous manganese. But the type of manganese that we have, the one thing that's exciting about the property actually is that there are 10 existing drill holes. So there is a historical resource there, right, with estimated tonnage, et cetera. And I think that
460,000 tons.
Exactly. And I think that makes it really exciting in that of all of our properties, it's probably the least greenfield, in that there really is a solid resource there that we can point to. And I think our initial work is we do want to prove that resource out. We want to with a future or a current exploration work, and then beyond that, start to explore how we can develop feasibility and move beyond that. I think the best, as I was getting to, the best thing there is that it's low iron, so it's non-ferrous, and that's why the project was originally abandoned. Historically, was because it didn't have the requirements for it to be used for steelmaking, but it's the exact kind of manganese that's required for these batteries. So we want to exploit that as best we possibly can.
And it's not just you guys talking your book on manganese. I've got you provide 2 quotes. One from Elon Musk, who said, I think there's an interesting potential for manganese. It's relatively straightforward to a cathode that's 2/3 nickel, 1/3 manganese, which will allow us to make 50% more cell volume with the same amount of nickel. I mean, that's pretty incredible. If anything can help you get 50% more volume, that tells us a lot about manganese. And then you got Volkswagen's Frank Blom, who said manganese is much cheaper than nickel, hence the focus on this chemistry. So, are people just catching on to the manganese story now?
I think there's been a little bit of buzz around it. Obviously, the mineral market and mining market hasn't been great for the past, call it 12, 18 months. But I think with this shift towards lithium and lithium even picking up even more, the shift towards graphite starting to get a little bit more eyes. I think manganese is going to be the next one as well. It's going to be pretty critical to these chemistries. And I think people are really going to start to notice that having this kind of de-risk portfolio that we have, where we have a number of different projects that we're actively moving forward with, we're actively spending on, I think really will result in increased value for shareholders.
And I'm going to end on a more general question there about how are you guys able to score such great projects from lithium to manganese to graphite? It's just amazing how, if most small companies got 1 or 2 of these, they'd be really happy and pounding their chest. You guys get multiple. How are you guys doing it, Zane? What's the secret sauce? And why should shareholders be really happy about your abilities to score these kind of projects?
Well, yeah, I'd say it's due to 2 things. I think one, as you said, we've been one of probably the more active companies over this kind of very, very quiet market since the beginning of the year. And I think that's really paid off for us. I think a lot of people were looking to do business and maybe there wasn't, the market was just not there. And we were one of the only people that was active looking to pick up projects and looking to invest in them. And I think that really spoke for itself. I think we were as people say, buy low, sell high, right? We're looking for assets in a down market and we were able to pick them up. And I think second to that, and probably even more importantly, is my partner, Michael Townsend, who couldn't be with us today, unfortunately, but he's got a very, very deep Rolodex in the mining space. And he's been able to leverage that in this market and be able to pull together some properties. And with that track record of success and in finding mines and developing great projects, I think people actively want to do business with us. And we've been in a great position to execute.
But given the fact that you guys went on a tear during the summer months when most people were just trying to recover from the first half, calamity in the markets and the world economies and how busy you guys were, I think it's safe to assume we're going to have you back on a lot between now and the end of the year, given the fact you've now accumulated a lot of these projects and properties and you guys are going to be working on them. But, we'll stop it there and say congratulations on putting Infinity Stone in an incredible position, to really attack this market.
Great. Well, thank you, George. We're excited to be back here, and we'll keep feeding the market with all the updates we have.
Yeah, can't wait for them. I mean, just more. It just seems like great news comes out of you guys, every week or two, and it's exciting because we know if for everyone watching, listening at home, there's no way you can't believe in the future of the electrical vehicle market. We know it's coming. We know there's going to be a shortage. So companies like Infinity Stone today represent. I can't give financial advice, but you guys just represent unbelievable value that needs to be closely looked at by anybody who's a serious investor and wants to participate in the future of this space.
Great. Well, appreciate it.
For everybody at home, you've been watching or you've been listening by podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, your favorite podcast platform, to Infinity Stone Ventures. The company trades on the CSE and the stock symbol GEMS. Now you know why I love that stock symbol, GEMS. For our friends in the US, TLOOF, and for our friends in Europe on Frankfurt under B2I0. For those new to the story, get to Agoracom, get the company's profile page, because guys, there are a lot of projects, a lot of different critical metals, and we've broken them down easily for you to follow them and stay up to date. And it's constantly changing. And then once you've taken a look at that, got your base knowledge, get over to the company's website, do your deep dive due diligence, and hopefully today you discovered your next amazing critical minerals company. Thanks for joining us. See you next time. Hey guys, this video is over, but don't forget to help your company by liking it and then leaving a comment below. And then don't forget to help yourself by subscribing to our channel so you don't ever miss another great Agoracom small cap video.